To our new friend, Michelle Ernsdorff. She's the founder and executive director of an organization called Compass to Care. And first of all, Michelle, are you there?
I'm here.
Michelle,
Hello.
thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now,
no problem.
Before we get into, at this point we normally say, who are you, how'd you get started, and what is it? But before we do that, was there any organization like yours when you started yours?
There are no organizations that are dedicated to exactly what we're doing now.
Okay.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm stunned. All right.
Definitely.
Michelle, the founder and director of Compass to Care, what is Compass to Care?
So Compass to Care is a childhood cancer foundation that is dedicated to scheduling and paying for the travel arrangements families require to seek cancer care for their children.
So when someone has to go get treatment for childhood cancer, they obviously can't just, most of the time, can't just walk there. There's travel costs that are incurred, and you pay for those travel costs.
That's correct. So basically, there's only 208, I believe, pediatric oncology hospitals in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And so since pediatric oncology is somewhat rare, there's 12,500 children diagnosed every year. Basically, most of those children end up having to travel to big cities. So if you live in a smaller city, you have to travel.
Yeah.
Well, in doing that, your family ends up incurring all types of costs that people just don't realize come along with traveling for their child's care. You have, obviously, if you need to pay for gasoline. If perhaps you don't have a car, you need a car rental. You might take the train. You might fly. When you get there, as we all know, costs for parking in Chicago specifically can get extremely expensive. And if you're coming here for 5 days every 3 weeks and trying to pay for parking, it becomes overwhelming cost for these families that I think a lot of people just don't realize actually are part of this whole struggle that these families are enduring.
Yeah, I never thought about it.
I guess people, you just kind of assume that if there's treatment available that the person can get there, but this is such a basic need, I guess.
Besides this being just a great idea, okay, and a basic need, I would assume it's just a basic need, why just start Compass to Care?
Well, thank you for asking that. I actually am a childhood cancer survivor. So I grew up in Dubuque, Iowa, and I was diagnosed when I was 14 months old. Really, my mom went to the doctor, and I was having some complications, and the doctor said that they thought that I had a tumor in my kidney.
Wow.
And he said, we can put together a team of physicians and take her kidney out and start treating her. And my dad said, well, hold on,
Yeah.
Have you ever done this before? And they said no. So, and it was a different time back then, but basically we ended up having to travel to the Mayo Clinic for my care. So I had a nephrectomy. I then had 18 cycles of radiation therapy. And then for 18 months, we traveled up to the Mayo Clinic, which is about 5.5 hours from Dubuque, for chemotherapy.
Wow.
And, I was very young, so I just hear it basically from the stories of my family. But there was a point where my parents went up and they thought that it was going to be, a quick checkup and come back. And so my mom and my dad both went. And I ended up being a lot more ill than they had anticipated. And I had to be admitted into the hospital. Well, my dad needs to get back home because they have 4 children that they need to put food on the table for. And so my dad said, you keep the car and I'll find a way back. And he said, I honestly had $10 left in the bank. And there was just no way for me to get home. And he said, I hitchhiked. He's like, there was really nothing else that we could do except, for me to start walking, and some truck driver picked him up. So it's always been such, a compelling story to me. And I have been working in the healthcare field for the past 14 years and realized that their story's not that unique. I mean, people pull and struggle, to make all kinds of ends meet, and will do everything that they can to save their child's life.
Man, I dig that.
Yeah.
If you haven't thought about making this into a movie, you really should. It's a great movie, and I'd watch it. So again, we're joined with Michelle Ernsdorff. She's the founder and director of an organization called Compass to Care. And how long has Compass to Care been around?
So we're brand new. We we actually received our 501c3 in March of this year. So we have been, diligently working on fundraising, and I'm so happy to say that we have extended assistance to our very first family. It happens to be a single mother with twin boys, and she is taking her son to chemotherapy for 5 days every 3 weeks. So, again, if you can just imagine, you have to tell your job, I'm going to be gone for 5 days every 3 weeks. But then when I get home, my child is probably going to be sick for the next 6 days, and I need to stay home with him. So a lot of families end up, one parent or the only parent ends up quitting their job. She was able to go on family medical leave, but family medical leave does not pay your salary. So you basically end up with nothing. So we're so excited to be able to help her, and I was speaking with her on the phone the other day, and she just really started crying. She said, I can't believe that there are people out there that want to help families like me when you don't even know me.
That's so great.
That's the amazing thing I think about almost everyone we bring on this show. It's just it's regular people finding a way to help. Donations must be the cat's meow for you.
Absolutely. And I recently went to the Pediatric Oncology Social Workers Conference in California, and really they are our lifeline to these families in letting us know, okay, this family really needs your assistance. And it was like I became an instant celebrity as soon as I told them what I was doing, because they said, we need your assistance right now. But we are in fundraising mode. We wanted to work through our process, so we decided to bring on one family, but absolutely, fundraising is key for us, and getting, the money so that we can turn around and continue to help all the families that are really waiting for us.
Question, do you have travel partners, maybe a taxi service or like that you've shaken hands with, and they're like, hey, you know what, we'll cut you a discount or something along like that, or maybe Delta or American Airlines, Southwest, something? Do you partake in those kind of partnerships?
We've been looking for those type of partnerships, and as I have gone in and basically spoken with these different organizations, any kind of discount they give us, our money goes so much further for these families. And you're right, it is an ongoing process. Children are treated from anywhere from 3 months up to 2.5 years, and sometimes even beyond that, for if they end up having recurrence. So partnerships are extremely important for us in getting, like I said, our money to just go so much further for these families.
I mean, how would you say it's been received, and what was the startup like?
Honestly, people are coming out of everywhere to try to help us because, again, when people think about cancer care, they think about, okay, you're going to the hospital for chemotherapy, and how much does your insurance pay? People just don't think about these other costs that really add up. So I think it's eye-opening for a lot of people, which is fantastic, because then we're bringing light to our cause, as well as to some of the additional struggles our families are enduring. But, yeah, we have had just honestly an overwhelming response from all different types of people and partners.
When did you actually get this idea? And you started in March. When did you get the idea, and what was the startup like? Was it, are you sitting in a room and you're like, I can do this? No, I can't do this. And did you have someone to throw the ideas and bounce the ideas off of? How weird was that?
Lucky for me, I like I said, I've been working in the medical field for the past 14 years, and I have a really good friend that is a radiologist, Dr. Carlos Garcia, out of Washington, D.C., and I've been conceptualizing it, honestly, for a couple years, and, Oprah always says, follow your dream and money will follow, and I was like, what is my dream? What is it that I really want to do to make an impact in this world? And so I happened to be meeting with him last year, and he was the first person I threw the idea out to, and his response was like just eye-opening, and he was so excited about it, and it gave me the energy to basically go home and get things started. And I asked him, would you be willing to be my medical advisor? And he is sitting on my board currently.
Do you get a lot of there was none of this before? Or
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. So, we've been really lucky. We really have found a huge gap that exists within, the childhood cancer environment, and are able to use our time and talents to basically, fill that gap.
I do want to say thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for coming up with this idea.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I so appreciate it.
And you said you're in fundraising mode right now, so anybody wanting to donate, they can do this from your website, or is there a phone number? Or?
Yes, there's a button on there to donate now, as well as We have our telephone number on there, so we'd be glad to take anybody's call if they have any questions.